Yes, hello children, how are you? Now again we are here in our physics module. Today we are going to start our another unit of 11th class, that we are going to see here, that is laws of motion. And in that laws of motion, that is our unit number 3rd, laws of motion, or NCERT chapter number 5. NCERT chapter 5. This we are going to see. Dear children, you know very well, in 9th class also we have seen Newton's laws of motion. Here we are going in brief. First, in the introduction part of Newton's laws of motion, dear children, I can say here, in the previous unit we have learned what we have learned in the previous unit, that is the concept of velocity. Concept of velocity we have seen to describe the uniform motion. To describe the uniform motion of a body. Uniform motion of a body that we have seen. Uniform motion of a body or uniform motion of a particle in a space. An additional concept of acceleration also we have seen. Acceleration was introduced to describe the non-uniform motion that we have seen. So velocity and acceleration we have seen in our last chapter. In this present chapter, that is laws of motion, we shall investigate what are the causes, what causes and governs what are the causes and governs the motion of the bodies. The motion of the bodies. So this chapter is some part is theoretical part. We are going to see first. What is force? It's a very simple concept. हम पिछले कई सालों से सुनते आ रहे हैं, पढ़ते आ रहे हैं, what is force? If you want to pull any table, if you want to push any chair, if you want to move football at rest, we have to do something, we apply something. When a football is at rest, if we want football may come in motion, but definitely we have to kick. Then football may be in motion. So our common experience says that to move football at a rest, suppose here is a football, here it is a football and it is at rest. Someone must kick it. If you are kicking it, then it will move. Similarly, to throw a stone upwards like this here, so we have to apply a force. Then stone may go up in this manner. So I can say, to throw a stone upwards, we have to give up an upward push like this. This is an upward push. It is clear? Or if a ball is moving and you want to stop them, so you have to apply an opposing force. When a ball is moving in this manner, to stop a ball rolling down, say of any inclined plane also here. Here it is an inclined plane. here in this manner. To stop a ball rolling down an inclined plane, I have to apply some force against its direction of motion. I have to apply the force in this direction. So these are the simple examples we can see in our daily life. Then I can explain what is force. So force is an external effort. Force is an external effort in the form of push or pull. In the form of push or pull, which produces motion in a body at rest. Motion in a body at rest. अगर बॉडी रेस्ट पर है तो मोशन में आ जाएगी. That can stop a moving body. That can stop a moving body. कोई बॉडी रेस्ट पर है तो चलने लग जाएगी, कोई बॉडी मोशन में है तो वो रुक जाएगी. Or changes the direction of the body. It may change the direction of the body. These things can happen when force applied it. For that I can see one more example. This, according to this definition, I can say when I push a ball, suppose this is a ball and I am pushing it. When a ball is pushing here, lying on the ground, it starts rolling. It starts rolling in this manner. So the force exerted has thus produced motion in the ball. However, we push a heavy stone, it will not move. However, if I push a heavy stone, it will not move. The effort made in this case has only tired to produce motion. वो हमें थका देगा केवल. But has not succeed. This is a simple example. So dear children, I can say external agency of force. I can say the external agencies of a force. External agencies of a force. For example, gravitational force, magnetic force can exert force on a body even from a distance. So I can say external agency of force can exert a force on a body even from a distance. कैसा sir? You can see, you take a magnet. Here suppose it is a magnet and nearby it is an iron. When you keep a magnet nearby an iron, it will attract. Why they are attracting? Due to magnetic force. Similarly, when अगर मैं इसको छोड़ता हूं यहां पर freely like this, it will go down. Then it will go down. Why it is due to so? It is due to the gravitational force of the earth. Is that clear? So these are the different kind of force. Even the body don't touch. Now, so my dear children, external force, if I say what I receive from these examples, can external force is required to move a body or to stop a body. So I can say here an external force is required to keep a body in uniform motion. It's a very important point. Uniform motion. External force is required for uniform motion. A ball rolling on the floor, suppose here is a ball, it is rolling on the floor, what happens? When a ball is rolling on a floor, what happens? It will stop after some time because an external force of friction occurs. External force of friction occurs in opposite direction between the ball and the floor. Here it is the floor. And also the resistance of the air. Also due to the resistance of the air, the ball will stop after some time. That will oppose the motion of the ball. If I say there is no opposing force, no frictional force, then ball will move continuously in the same direction. If there is no opposing force, no frictional force. So dear children, I can say that the opposing force such as a friction acts, the opposing force such as a friction in case of a solid. अगर सॉलिड मूव कर रहा है तो वहां पर फ्रिक्शन लगता है. एंड विस्कस फोर्स व्हेन इट इज इन लिक्विड, व्हेन लिक्विड फ्लो करता है, द फोर्स which opposes the flow of motion of the liquid is called viscous force. That is always present in the natural world. So we can say forces by external agencies are necessary to overcome the opposing force between the bodies. Opposing force between the bodies to keep in a uniform motion. If I suppose that, अगर मैं ऐसा कहूं कि वर्ल्ड में फ्रिक्शनल फोर्स है ही नहीं, if I suppose that world without any frictional force, so no force would be required to keep a body moving uniformly along a straight line. So this is the true law of nature for force and motion. So always frictional force are there. For that one scientist came, and the scientist named Galileo. What is the name of scientist? Galileo. The Galileo law of inertia we are going to see. Is it clear? Now. So dear children, we are going to see Galileo law of inertia. It's a very interesting law. We can take an activity to explain this. Galileo observation. That we have seen also in 9th class. So here dear children, Galileo, Galileo, laws of inertia, that we are going to learn. So we are taking here and a simple activity to explain this. What is that? Galileo studied motion of the object on an inclined plane. Inclined plane. Suppose this is our inclined plane here. When the object is moving from here, it will move like this, in this manner. Object moving down a smooth inclined plane. What happened? When they are in inclined plane, definitely it will accelerated. In this case, it will accelerated. While that of in opposite case, say in this manner, if the ball is going upward, in this manner, हम इधर से छोड़ते हैं, यहां पर तो इधर से, यहां पर इधर से. Object moving up a smooth inclined plane, then the motion of the ball will retard. कम होगा धीरे धीरे. It will retard. And in the third case, there is no inclination here on the surface. Then the body will move in a straight line. It's a simple activity we can do easily at our home. Object moving on a frictionless horizontal plane move with a constant velocity. Say it is moving with a constant velocity in this direction, having neither acceleration and no retardation. Neither acceleration and no retardation. No retardation. Is it clear? Yes, sir, it is clear. Now, in this experiment, he take a single inclined plane, but later on Galileo taken double inclined plane. In another experiment that is called double inclined plane. Double inclined plane means here in this manner, one a plane surface and then this here. Galileo observed that a ball released from rest from here, it will move like this, in this manner. On one smooth inclined plane, rolls down and climbs up, then going like this. In this manner, up to the same height. Up to the same height, both are same. To climb up the other smooth inclined plane, what you observed? In ideal situation, when there is no friction, important बात है ये. When there is no friction and in both the side inclination angle is same, with the surface, even we can say like this, here and here. The final height of the ball is the same as its initial height. ये वाला height and this height both are same. In actual practice, when some friction is there, then the final height is somewhat less than the initial height. In no case, the final height is over या ever greater than the initial height. ये height कभी भी इससे ज़्यादा नहीं हो सकती है, कम जरूर हो सकती है. When the slope of the two planes are same, when the slopes of the two planes are same in both the sides, when the slope of the two planes are same, what I observed, height is same. When the slope of the two inclined plane are same, so I can say in both the side The distance covered in rolling down one incline is same as the distance covered in climbing up the other side. ये वाला distance और ये वाला distance, जितना इधर नीचे आ रहा है इतना इधर ऊपर जाएगा in climbing and in rolling down. Both the distances are same. Both the distances are same when the inclination is same. It is clear. It is the first observation. When the inclination is something little bit less, here I can say in this manner here. Now the inclination is less compared to this. The ball is coming in this manner. Here. What we are observing? In this here, it is the first case. This is the second case. When the slope of the second smooth inclined plane is decreased, this slope is decreased. This slope is decreased, then what I observed? An experiment is repeated. The ball still reaches the same height. This height and this height is same. The ball still reaches the same height. Ball still reaches the same height. But in doing so, it travels a larger distance. But in doing so, it travels larger distance. Distance बढ़ गई है. Height same है, but distance बढ़ गई है. In the third experiment, here, it is in this manner. Here. When the slope of the second smooth inclined plane is made 0, here the slope is 0. Ball is coming like this. It will go continuously. Here. When the slope of the second inclined plane is made 0, I mean to say that second plane, inclined plane is made horizontal. Here. It is horizontal. It made horizontal. The ball travels an infinite distance in the ideal situation. It will go for an infinite distance in ideal situation. What is the ideal situation? There is no frictional force. Then it can happen. Is that clear? Yes, sir. Where there is no friction, motion of all the ball never ceases. But what happens in actual practice? In actual practice, what we observe? The ball comes to rest after moving some time, some finite distance on the horizontal direction. This is because the opposing force. This is because the opposing force in between the ball and the ground. So we can't say that frictional force is eliminated. It is not possible. So with the help of this double inclined plane experiment, what Galileo concluded? From this experiment, what we concluded here, the state of rest and the state of motion with constant velocity are equivalent. are equivalent. In both the cases, no net force is acting on the body. In both the cases, no net force is acting on the body. No net force acting on the body. It is clear? Yes, sir. So Galileo emphasized that it is incorrect to assume that a net force is needed to keep a body in uniform motion along a straight line. What can emphasize? It is incorrect in assume that a net force is needed to keep a body in a uniform motion. Force is definitely there. Is it clear? In the conclusion of this experiment, I can say Galileo concluded that if net external force is zero, if the net external force is zero, a body at rest continues to be at rest. क्या बताया गैलीलियो ने? If the net external force is zero, a body at rest continues to be at rest, and a body in uniform motion, a body is in uniform motion, a body is in uniform motion, continues to move uniformly along the same straight line. Uniformly along the same straight line. This is the conclusion of Galileo. This is called Galileo law of inertia. I hope, dear children, all of you have understood very simple manner with the help of the double inclined plane experiment. Is it clear? Now, what is linear momentum? One more time I want to clear here. What do you mean by linear momentum? That also we have learned in 9th class. Linear momentum. Linear momentum, the symbol is P. Linear momentum of a body that we have seen in 9th class, it is the product of mass and velocity. P is equal to m into v. The linear momentum of a body is defined as the product of the mass of the body and its velocity. So I can say it is mass into velocity. If a body of say mass m moving with a velocity v here, then the linear momentum is P is equal to m into v, like this. It is a vector quantity. It is a vector quantity that gives a direction. Its direction is the same as the direction of the velocity of the body. जिधर इसका velocity का direction है, उधर ही इसका momentum का direction है. The SI unit of linear momentum, that is in kilogram into meter divided by second. And in CGS unit, gram into centimeter divided by second. The dimensional formula here is m1 L1 T minus 1 here. From this formula P is equal to mv. If I say when m is constant, so P is proportional to V. We can find this graph here. When m is constant, when V is constant, then graph is something like this. But when P is constant, the graph in between V and M, P is constant, M is inversely proportional to 1 by V. Here something like this. Is it clear? Now, further, when the two bodies of unequal masses, say M1 and M2, have the same linear momentum, so P1 is equal to P2. That is equal to M1 V1 is equal to M2 V2. So what is that? V2 by V1 is equal to M1 by M2, inversely proportional I gave office. The velocities of the bodies having equal linear momenta varies inversely as their masses. So heavier the body has smaller velocity. Heavier the body means smaller velocity, and the lighter the body has a greater velocity. Lighter the body अगर lighter होगी, lighter the body, greater velocity. Is it clear? So dear children, today it's enough. In the next module we are going to learn some more topics. Briefly explain Newton's laws of motion. Bye.